Hey y'all, I'm back with my August 2024 reading wrap up. I read a total of 12 books and I cannot wait to tell you all about them, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Books with Kimberly. Don't forget to like, comment, share my channel, and subscribe. Y'all, I am so proud of myself. I read a total of 12 books in the month of August. I think it's been a long time since I have devoured that many books. And for 8 of them to be actual ebooks that I had to sit and focus and actually read and not audiobooks, I am super proud of myself. Those 8 ebooks that I read on Kindle Unlimited are all by Huffington. I finished up the Eisenberg Effect series with Laike and the novella Liam, and then I went into the Domino Effect series, which is Ledge, Lawe, and the short story of Halo. And then I finished out the month with the Berkeley Bread series by Huffington. In that series, I read Malachi, Makai, and Mercer. I'm going to do a separate video going over all of the books that I read by Huffington in the month of August and past months. Rank those books and let you know who is my favorite book husband, because y'all, all of them definitely make the book husband list. In this video, I'm going to go over the 4 audiobooks I listened to in the month of August. So let's get right into it. Book number 1, the first audiobook that I listened to in the month of August is Something Like Love by Beverly Jenkins. So I thought I was taking a break from the Blessing series, but comes to find out, Something Like Love is connected to the Blessing series. It takes place in 1888. We get introduced to Olivia. Olivia flees Chicago after finding out her father wants to marry her off to this man she does not want to marry. She chooses a town in Kansas that was started by Black people, and that town is Henry Adams. And if you've been hearing me talk about the Blessing series, that series is centered around the town of Henry Adams. And so Olivia falls for Neil July. The Julys are deeply rooted in the history of the town of Henry Adams. And so in the Blessing series, I'm reading about Trent July, Mal, Tamar, and it's so interesting to read about their ancestors in 1888 and how they came to live in Henry Adams in the first place. So Olivia is a seamstress. She opens up her own seamstress shop in Henry Adams. We also get Neil July, who is a part of one of the Native American tribes, and he robs trains in order to get money to give back to these tribes who did not get the government funding that they were promised. And so in this book, he is an outlaw, and he is definitely not someone that Olivia should be hanging with. But the two of them just keep meeting up, and when they meet up, sparks fly. What I really love about Beverly Jenkins is her novels. There's drama, there's romance, there's so much going on, and I absolutely love it. You're going to get a shootout, you're going to get an evil person, and we got that character in Armstead, Lawe. He was trying to get Olivia to marry him. He also was running for mayor in this book, and because Olivia and the women in the town did not want Malachi to be mayor, they nominated Olivia, and she actually won mayor. This book, y'all, was so good. The romance between Olivia and Neil was everything. It gave fluff, it gave adventure, it gave forbidden because he is this outlaw. And just the idea and the rumor swimming around about them dating has an effect on Olivia's reputation of being this demure, as they say now, demure, classy woman. And so I love the story and how the two of them continue to build their relationship. So I give this book 5 stars, and I definitely recommend that y'all read this book. Second audiobook that I listened to in the month of August is by a new author that I did not know of. I actually heard of this author by listening to Roussel Reads her booktube channel. She mentioned the author Moses Osei Utomi, and while I was looking for the series that she referenced, I found the audiobook Daughters of Oduma on my Scribd subscription. This book is YA fantasy. It takes place in like an African country. They don't really give it a name, they just call it the Isles. But this book is about these 5 girls who make up a team of bowers. Bowing is this game that they play where it's basically like wrestling amongst women, and they have to gain weight, train, be strong in order to compete in competitions that happen yearly. And the house that is on top is the one that is most prosperous. It gains other young girls to be recruits, and their house continues to grow. We get introduced to the Daughters of the Mud. This mud team, they are at the brink of non-existence because there's only 5 of them, and one of them, who is kind of the main character of the story, Dirt, she is turning 17, and when she turns 17, she becomes a woman and has to leave the group. And once they are down to 4 sisters, they are no longer able to be a house. So a lot is riding on this house of mud. But they have a really good bower, Weber, who is undefeated, and they are putting their trust in her. However, when the competition starts, Weber is injured due to some foul play in one of the games, and Dirt, being the second, has to step up to the plate and compete for the sake of the house. Some of the sisters are okay with this, some of them are not. And so we really get this story of the 5 sisters and them dealing with their house being on the brink of non-existence if Dirt does not train, figure something out, get blessings from the gods in order for her to compete in this competition and enable their house to be prosperous. I did really enjoy this book. It was a nice listen. I did have trouble catching on at first because this book is in 3rd person perspective, and I am a reader who prefers 1st person, especially in fantasy. I feel like you get to connect with the character more. The other thing is, with YA fantasy, I am used to a little romance, so that was an element that I kind of missed. Even though I know sometimes in YA fantasy, the romance is just thrown in there and it doesn't make sense. And it probably wouldn't have made sense in this book. It would have really distracted from the main plot of the book. This is the 1st book in the series, and I definitely want to read book number 2. I am giving this book 4 stars, and I'm also going to add it to my book number 2 YA Fantasy Challenge because this is a Black YA fantasy book. The last 2 audiobooks that I listened to in the month of August were by Sarah J. Maas. Y'all, I am determined to finish this A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. So in the month of August, I listened to A Court of Wings and Ruin, and then there was also a book number 3.5, which is a shorter story, and that is A Court of Frost and Starlight. I actually enjoyed the pacing of book number 3, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin. I felt like the other books, they went by in a very snail pace. But book number 3, they picked up the pace. There was a lot more action happening. And for a girl who does not like the whole war of things, to be honest, that was the most interesting thing that was happening in this series. We get the Fae. The majority of them are coming together in order to battle Hybern, who Hybern plans to take over all of the courts and the human realm as well. And so you get a lot of conversations, a lot of them meeting up to figure out how they're going to come together and blend their armies together in order to take down Hybern and his army. We still are getting the romance kindling between Feyre and Rhysand. There was also some Tamlin drama. I thought the story was overall pretty good. I give the book 4 stars. I will say that I just feel like the A Court of Thorns and Roses series is just missing something for me. I'm not understanding how it is hyped up so much, and this may just be how I feel about Sarah J. Maas novels in general, because I did start the Assassin's Blade series years ago, and I read the first 2 books and I enjoyed them, but did not feel compelled to finish. And those 2 books were pretty good. It's just something about her writing doesn't fully grab me. I don't know if her female characters aren't very, I mean, they're likable, but maybe she doesn't give them enough depth to really draw me in. And maybe Farrah is very one note. Some of my favorite characters in the series, we don't even get a lot of them, which are Nesta, Tamlin, Lucian, and Elaine. I feel like this series really forces Rhysand and his court down our throat. I don't really care about those characters for real. I do like Rhysand, but I felt like his character is completely different in the rest of the series than it was in book 1. And so that bad boy thing he had going on is not even there, which is what really made me drawn to Rhysand's character in the first place. So I'm gonna finish this series just because I want to, and I'm hoping it ends with a bang with book 4. The next book in the series was 3.5, which is The Court of Frost and Starlight. This book was not necessary. It literally was not necessary. It did not move the series forward. It was literally how romance novels give that little Christmas novella to tie all of the characters together and show you that all the lovey-dovey couples in the romance series are like a big happy family and are having Christmas dinner together. This is what that book was. It got really low ratings, and I'm going to add to that by giving it 2 stars. Y'all, that is it for the books that I read in August. Stay tuned for my next video where I do a deep dive into all of the books that I've read by Great Huffington. Get down in those comments and let me know if you've listened to any of the books I mentioned, especially the series A Court of Thorns and Roses. Let me know if it gets better in book 4, or if there's something that I'm missing of why it is so hyped up. Get down in those comments and definitely let me know. Don't forget to like my video, and thank you again for tuning in to a Books with Kimberly video.